Namanda, 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 Namanda. Good morning. Ohayou gozaimasu. Welcome to our Shotsuki service for the month of September. Nice to have everyone here and there. Hopefully you have all your things printed out and you can participate in the service. Today we have our guest chair people here. The Sloth family is here, and mother and father Sloth and baby Sloth, Sho and Suki. And so the parents have their masks on, again, reminding each of us to continue to be cautious and safe and wear our masks wherever we go. And you will also notice that they have their onenju and they are ready for service. So it's nice to have them here. They like to come during the Shotsuki time in particular and to join us, and they really appreciate this service. And I think they were taken because I always try to explain that the Shotsuki service is a very special service. Not only do we recognize our family members that we have lost, but through them, they become kind of a conduit, not just to acknowledge the family, our own families, but through them, we acknowledge everything else in the world, in the universe, in Amida, the infinite. And so they become kind of a gateway for us to acknowledge first, maybe mom or dad, grandma, grandpa, but through that, our interconnection to all things. And this is a process that we go through as Jodo Shinshu Buddhists, and this is what makes the Nembutsu real as we open more and more our hearts and minds to connect to this infinite that we are a part of. So with that, today we'll have the reading of the Hyobyakumon and then the reading of the Shotsuki names. So during the reading of the names, please come up and offer incense or however you have set up to do at your homes, and we'll read each of these names for September. Following this, I'll go take my seat in the Onaijin and we'll chant the Sambujo and the Amida Kyo. Then I'll come back for our brief Howa Dharma message. Okay, so please join me in the Hyobyakumon. Today, on this occasion of the Shotsuki service for the month of September, members of the families have reverently come before Amida Buddha in memory of their beloved. With deepest reverence and thankfulness for the all-embracing wisdom and compassion of Amida, we reaffirm the three homages, Namo Kie Butsu, Namo Kie Ho, Namo Kie So. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Please repeat the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, 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 Namanda. These are the Shotsuki names for the month of September. Akinaga Osamu, Bruno Alberto, Doi, Akitaka, Fukuyama, Akiko, Hasegawa, Akira, Mashimoto, Ryuzo, Hatakeda, Tomo, Hori, Yoshie, Imazumi, Kanae, Imazumi, Rose, Toshiko, Inoue, Chikara, Iwaihara, Katsutaro, Kataoka, Hisao, Kawahara, Yukino, Kobu, Sensaburo, Komatsu, Kameko, Kumamoto, Heihachiro, Maruyama, Kazuko, Maeda, Kinu, Merkrosky, Asako, Mikami, Naoyamon, Mochizuki, Kyoshi, Moritomo, Infant, Itsuko, Murakawa, Takao, Meyer, Richard, Rick, Nagai, Infant, Francis, 中野誠、中野土野、中尾俊子 D、中尾豊吉、中曽育、西川君代、のりえ、みすえ、小川、インフィント清美、近江、ヘンリー、杉谷、三郎、杉山、インフィント白、田淵、日中、田村、レイ、田島、信、武田、利三郎、立山、三重、土屋、マリエ、鶴本、通、つゆき、健太郎、梅根、虎吉、山田、光一、山本、恵美子、山本、元則、山本、裕次郎、山崎、孫一、山崎、シナ。These are the Shotsuki names for the month of September. If there are additions or corrections, please notify the office. Sambujo and Amirakyo. 阿弥陀経。行世がも日時分際、社会国技術機構独音、兄弟ビク主千人、150人区改正、大やらかん中小知識長老、シャリオマカモケンレン、マカカショマカカセンレン、マカクチラリアタ、ユリアンダガナンダアナンダ、ラゴラキョモンナダイビンズル、アナダカルライマカ、コヒンナハクラル、ルダノゼト初代弟子、ヨショボサマカサ、コンジュシリオジアイ、タボサケンダ、タダイボサ、ジョショジンボサ、ノニョゼト初代ボサ、有釈大官人と無料、商店大祝二次文語、ロシャリオ、重税裁縫、果樹、万禄運動、世界の万国落語道、文語、阿弥陀、根源在説法、シャリオ、井戸が公明、異国落語国修上、空宿、短寿、小楽、公明、国楽、シャリオ、国ら、国道、七十、乱十、七十、ラモ、七十、五十、改正、司法、主、総意、行、成功、異国、明、万国楽、シャリオ、国ら、国道、七宝七百六水十万五中四体順に本社富士四辺街道金言ルリハリゴジョジョウロ各役位金言ルリハリ社交釈州名の二言直視中年芸男女車輪小式証拠公式要項釈式釈光百式白光微妙高血シャリオ国ら国土長寿尿税空力将軍ウッシャリ法医部国土調査天学黄金二次昼夜六時二遊万ダラ敬語国修上上位昇誕白衣英国上中行家空用他法十万六部即位直次元と本国門直教業シャリオ国ら国土長寿領税空力将軍ウシシャリ法義国上修十奇妙雑式市長百国弱法務シャリ下領民が愚名市長継承中長長や六時和芸音合音年長合根合力七母大分合唱道文行政東方合同修上門税音に外出年分年俸年相シャリ法のもつぎ市長秩税祭法省省省医者が異部国道無三幕州シャリ法合部国道商務三幕道市名画教秩税省州庁改正阿弥陀仏力量法安泉流園芸調査シャリ法異部国道密封水路東方語十牛法ラモ水味妙音二尿百選中学同時空差門税本社開示年上念仏年俸年相指針シャリ法東部国道長寿 陀仏成仏以来法根実行舎利法非仏無量無縁正門でし新た非正三十四章の地百部尿税舎利法非部国領上重尿税空毒将軍国領修上少者改税阿鼻罰地道中他無一生不生五種新十章の知識単価異無量無変遊ぎ考察者利用修上門者応答発願願消費国消費者が特用尿税症状前に不営一生者利法不可小前後国特因縁特消費国者利法略無前難し全妙人論説阿弥陀仏持名語脈一日脈二日脈三日脈四日脈五日脈六日脈七日神父乱合人臨妙十字阿弥陀仏要所小十最後前芸人十字神父天道即徳往生阿弥陀仏心国道舎利法が健税利公設非言薬部修上門税摂者法等発願消費国道舎利法尿が根者三段阿弥陀仏無可思議空毒法薬王宿美仏修味創仏大修味仏修味公仏尿恩仏尿税と法が社修小仏各王合国水超絶相変風三千大先生会卒業実言尿長修上超新税小三不可思議空毒一切小仏小五燃料舎利法南方正解空日合当仏尿門公仏大円見仏修味当仏無料超人仏尿税と法が社修小仏各王語国水工場絶相円風三千大先生会卒業実言領土修上等身税小三不可思議空毒一切小仏小五燃料舎利法西法正解無料重仏無料総仏無料動物大好物大名仏発想仏上皇仏尿税と法が社修小仏各王語国水工場絶相変風三千大先生会卒業実言尿長修上等身税小三不可思議空毒一切小仏小五燃料舎利法北方正解有縁見仏小恩仏小仏日小仏無明仏成長合が社修小仏各王合国水工場絶相変風三千大先生会卒業実言尿長修上等身税小三不可思議空毒一切小仏小五燃料舎利法芸法正解有志士仏門仏妙高仏脱魔仏報道仏自法仏尿税と法が社修小仏各王合国水工場絶相変風三千大先生会卒業実言尿長修上新税小三不可思議空毒一切小仏小五燃料舎利法情報正解空本論仏職王仏工場仏高校仏内縁見仏雑式法家根心仏シャラ十王仏法家
特物権一切義物領主利戦物納税庁合賀者収賞物皇后国水工場絶相遠風三千大戦正解切上実言のと修上新税賞賛不可思議空読一切小物小五燃料理法音楽学校名医一小物五燃料者理法脈全難自然妙に門税小物小説妙義表名者継承全難自然妙に会一切小物同小五年体徳不体験の和のくたら三脈三宝大成功者理法と回答真珠画号牛小武小説者理法脈人理発願根発願東発願入所阿弥陀仏国者継承人と回徳不体験法和のくたら三脈三宝大大非国道脈一生脈根性脈東小税公者理法小税南自然妙人脈信者応答発願消費国土者理法尿が根者小三小物不可思議空読小仏道訳小説が不可思議空読にさ税言釈無二仏の偉人南慶右指示東者馬国道豪直悪性豪直権直煩悩直修上直直修徳はのくたら三脈三宝大一生充実税一切政権南進司法者理法統治が法豪直悪性行使南寺徳はのくたら三脈三宝大一切政権摂氏南進司法税偉人南仏説司教医者理法優勝美空一切世間天人な修羅と文部小説管理真珠さらいにこ仏説阿弥陀経
Good morning again. I would like to start today's Dharma message with this quote. Please join me in Gassho. Each feature and mark releases throughout the 10 quarters 100,000 beams of light. Thus the Buddhas constantly teach and spread the excellent Dharma and lead beings into the Buddha's path. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, Namanda. So if you remember, I read this exact same wasang last week and reflecting upon the vacation time and being up in Idaho and avoiding the wasps and cutting down the roses and wearing our masks and keeping away from people who didn't have their masks. And so fitting that experience with this quote. And today, since that time, we've had different conditions at the temple, and we have been preparing for a family memorial service. 3 sons were preparing to have a 1-year memorial service for their father, and we've been going back and forth. And initially they wanted to have a normal service at the temple, and because of the pandemic we could not do that, and maybe we thought we could and then we couldn't, and so we were kind of going back and forth. And they had the option to have a video service. They really didn't want to do that, and then that became the best option. So it's been taking a long time to set up this service, and through that I had asked one of the sons, that the obituary and eulogy that was read, reflections at the funeral. And the funeral was done in Hilo, Hawaii, at our Honganji temple over there. And so I was sent these words that were written by the oldest son, and I wanted to share some of these reflections on today's Shotsuki service. And so these were written as he was thinking about his father that had passed away. And he wrote, "He told me that when his father was on his deathbed, Dad was 15, and the son's father, got one last scolding from his father who was on his deathbed, scolding him, telling him again, be a good boy." And as I read those words, it could be taken that those words from his father could be to any of us, our own parents, as they pass away, telling us to continue on, to persevere, to be humble and kind in everything that we do. So his father's words, grandfather's words, came to his father, coming to him, and now they're coming to all of us. Another reflection. He enlisted in the army in 1951 for the Korean War. Dad remembered riding the train for days from LA to Georgia. He remembered what segregation was like in the South, when the black recruits had to eat at their restaurants and stay at their hotels. All the more today, with the protests for the brutality and the killings of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and so many more, we can see how closely our own lives are intertwined with the acts of discrimination and racism veiled behind the ideals of justice and equality in America. Then he wrote, Dad was also a dog person. The first house dog they had was Chibi. So I'm a dog person too. And this made me smile, because how many of our families had a dog named Chibi? Maybe 90%. Everybody knows or had a dog named Chibi, or somebody in their family or some friend had a dog named Chibi. So many Chibis in all our families here. I think, even when we had our pet memorial in Idaho, Oregon, there were quite a few Chibis. Another dog, Hachi. Hachi was usually cautious around new people, but eventually warms up to them. Except for Dad. It took 9 long years. We would bribe her with treats as she gradually became somewhat comfortable to be around Dad. She would even allow him to walk her, but only if I was with them. Finally, during his last year, she got to the point where she could cautiously greet him at the door when we returned from an errand. By the end, when I returned home from visiting Dad at the care home, she would look to the garage, looking for the person that was missing. Hachi would miss Dad's presence. In one sense, it takes time. In another sense, his presence never goes away. His presence visits us like the red dragonflies of the Obon season, bringing us warmth and memories and thoughts of times shared. And these are thoughts from one son of his father, but we can see the commonality that we share with them, with this one family. The marks of the Buddha, 100,000 beams of light reaching us, touching us, shining all around us. Wisdom and compassion are everywhere. And these are guides to help us to become better people so that we can try to make this place a better nation and a better world. And so through this, we can see the beams of light of the Buddha in so many different aspects all around us. And through that, we can reflect on ourselves, we can learn ourselves, and we continue to be a good boy, to be a good person, to persevere and to continue and make everything all around us better and better. So please join me again in Gassho, and I'll read this wasan one more time. Each feature and mark releases throughout the 10 quarters 100,000 beams of light. Thus the Buddhas constantly teach and spread the excellent Dharma and lead beings into the Buddha's path. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Thank you very much for joining us for this Shotsuki service. Please come up here and at your homes to Oshoko and make your offerings at your home altars and continue to think about your loved ones and your families and all the connections that we share. Thank you very much for being here.